Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back in to this episode of the Through Our Eyes streams. Today we are focusing on BIPOC communities, so that's Black, Indigenous and people of colour. And we're also raising for the community group Hate is a Virus. You'll see the ticker up there. We're over halfway now to our goal, which is absolutely incredible. But you will notice that our guests have changed. They are not the same guests as... Well, one of them is. But they're not the same guests as before.
I should have changed my shirt.
Honestly, you should have done an entire set change. Just like a different room, a different shirt. It would have been a quick change. We'll work on it for next time. So, before we get about introducing everybody and your host for the segment, who is the lovely Racket Raven, we will have a quick look at a video from Hate is a Virus, just to get you up to speed with what we're doing today, who we're raising for, and the differences that your money can make. So we will see you in just a moment.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Hashtag Hate is a Virus began as a movement to combat xenophobia and racism fueled by coronavirus.
The success of our movement will, 1, bring awareness to the racism and hate against our community, not just within our own circles, but beyond.
Our goal is to raise over $1 million to help all the small businesses across the country stay afloat during these very tough times.
Through collaborative effort among founders of Uprisers, Better Brave, Asian Hustle Network, and community leaders, this will be achieved through social media campaigns, donations, tea sales, and virtual events.
We want to engage with not only our Asian community, but ask that communities beyond stand in solidarity with us.
Through our campaign, Education with Informational Content and Relief Fund,
we want to equip our communities with practical ways to respond to racism and hate that they may either witness or experience themselves.
Share your stories with us by tagging Hate is a Virus.
Please change your Facebook profile to Hate is a Virus overlay.
And visit the link below to find out more about how you can join the movement and support small businesses.
Hate.
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 Hate is a virus.
Hate is a virus.
Hate is a virus.
Hate is a virus.
A virus.
The virus.
It's a virus.
Hate is a virus.
Alrighty, there we go. So I hope that helped just a little bit. You can also type in !Hate is a Virus into the chat, and that will show you their website and all of their resources there. They've got loads of different like sort of free infographics and things like that. So you can get yourself up to speed, learn a little bit more and go from there. But let's introduce our next panel. And I will start by introducing Racket Raven, and then they're going to introduce everybody else. Hi, Raven.
Hi.
How are you doing, honey?
Oh, I'm living the dream, half caffeinated, so we're good.
It's all right. I just sorted that out for myself, so we're doing all good there. So let's go through these questions right quick, and then we'll let you introduce everyone else. So can you just tell us the name you go by and what your pronouns are?
I go by Raven, and my pronouns are they, them, which is a new development.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
Proud to hear. Brilliant. And can you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, I am your resident chaotic, good, big titty goth waifu. So what that means,
titty energy today,
right? Listen, titties all day. Basically, what that means is I am very vocal for things I believe in. I stand up for the rights of, marginalized communities everywhere. I end up talking a lot on, issues of racism, mental health, LGBTQIA2+ issues, politics, because people don't like talking about that, but we need to. I really just genuinely try to be a safe place to have really hard talks. Somebody's got to do it.
Yep, perfect. And that's pretty much why you're taking part in today's discussion and helping host as well.
Oh, well, thank you. Sometimes I do good things.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, only sometimes.
I will side-eye you for that comment. But there we are. Ooh. I learned it from you anyway, so... So, can you tell us a couple of fun facts about you?
Yeah, I have 2 children who are the loves of my life, but I don't like them most of the time. I said what I said.
Fair.
Don't at me. I am the lead and owner of the Underworld charity team. I am not a partner, so I don't have an official team, but we do good shit anyway. We actually started early January after the attack on the Capitol, because the hypocrisy was disgusting. So we started raising money for, marginalized communities. And I think at this point we have raised close to $12,000 collectively as a group for multiple charities.
Very nice.
The third fun thing is that I'm adopted.
Cool.
That's it.
Fair enough. Brilliant. Excellent. There we are. Just put a stamp on that. Done.
Right.
And where can people find you online or the team if they want to come and have a look?
You guys can find me at Wreck-It Raven on almost everything except for TikTok. That's Wreck-It.Raven. Stupid. But if you actually come into my chat, I have a Underworld command that actually has a list of all the Underworld team members. You can also check them out on my website, which is theunderworld.live.
Perfect. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Now, I'm going to go and get out of your hair. We do have another person coming into this conversation who I will just pop into the fray shortly, so don't be surprised if another name tags in. But I will get out of the way and leave it up to you. See you in a bit.
Bye. Okay, friends. Some of you I know and some of you I just met, so let's just get into it. Metal, would you like to introduce yourself, my friend?
Absolutely. My name's Metal and Coffee. You can call me Metal for short. I'm a metal DJ from the East Coast. I'm a full-time web dev, which I fucking love. And a part-time streamer that I do a lot of horror games and also do some, sorry, my little dog's deciding to bark, some live coding as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Can I just ask your pronouns?
Yes, she, her.
Perfect. And tell us a little bit more about you. Like what kind of really brings you into horror gaming?
I feel like I have been always into horror since I was born. My late mom used to terrorize me when I was growing up, watching Tales from the Crib and just making me go to bed afterwards and have nightmares. So that was very ingrained in me, and I learned to love nightmares.
Relatable.
But yeah, it's gonna sound weird. I've always been into like very dark and pensive and everything that encompasses that. So like it's not a surprise that I'm into like super heavy metal music, like very strong distortion and just dark stuff. I'm not necessarily a dark person. Physically I am, but I'm not a dark person. My soul's not that dark. But but I like dark things and subjects and all that. I'm not very, to be honest, I'm not a very vocal person when it comes to politics and hard topics. I'm very aware of them. I live it. But it's just something that I kind of really put into my expression of what I like and everything. I will absolutely participate in discussions like I am now. But when it comes to vocalizing it, you'll see me do it here and there, but this is kind of where my expression comes through the music I like and the things I like and the games I play, which I really, really love. So yeah, that's my little spiel.
I feel like we are kindred spirits as well, because you're talking about all things dark, and I'm like, have you seen me? So, I mean, honestly, you answered a lot of the questions that, are here. So I guess where can people find you?
You can find me. I'm mostly on Twitter. That's all I do is Twitter. Metal and Coffee _ at the end of Metal and Coffee. That's about it. You can find I'm a DJ, obviously. I've been a DJ for 14 years, and that's where most of my content creation comes from. I'm very new to streaming. In case you're wondering why I'm here, I feel like I'm a little bit of an imposter. I'm not like a very, big streamer. My content and my journey has come through music curation and DJing. But if you're interested in that stuff, you can go to my Mixcloud, mixcloud.com/metalandcoffee. I curate a lot of good metal. So if you're interested in that, check it out.
Heck yeah. All right. I like that. Jax, my new friend. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks.
I mean, I said your name, so can
Yeah.
you tell us your pronouns, please?
I go by he, she, they, any work for me.
Perfect. Love that. I love that energy. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name's Jackster K Forge. Jax or Jackster is fine. I'm a content creator. I've been streaming for about 3 years now. I'm not that big, but I'm always happy streaming random games. I'm big horror lover. I've watched horror ever since I was little. Even my dad is actually went to college to be a horror director or a horror movie
Hell yeah.
director, and I don't know, that's going for him. But I'm also Native American, indigenous, and I'm pansexual.
Love that. Yes. That's awesome. Why did you decide to take part in the discussion today?
Mostly it's because I've been streaming for such a long time, and I've yet to do anything charity wise, and I figured this would be a good start. And I'd also like to share a little bit of my native side, um, talking about my culture and whatnot. I don't do it often on my streams. On my streams, I'm usually loud, crude, and trying to be funny and everything, playing video games. But I'm almost never serious,
Yeah.
and I'd love to do that today.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us today, especially because we don't always have, the ability to talk to our Indigenous brothers and sisters. So thank you for sharing a piece of yourself with us today. Hit me with 3 fun facts about you.
Well, I'm wearing a mask. I never show my face. And I probably should have started with this, but I never show my face. I used to, but a lot of that stuff is all gone. And I'm sure you can find it if you really tried looking, but I don't show my face anymore. I'm trying to make the mask my identity. And let's see. Um, Although you won't tell it from my streaming, I am a amateur historian and inspiring philosopher.
That's
And
pretty dope.
for number 3, I don't know. I think that's good.
You know what? I'll take historian and philosopher and break that up.
All right, that'll work.
Right? It works.
Yeah.
And where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitch at Jackster K Forge, on YouTube at youtube.com/JacksterKForge, and Twitch at twitch.tv/JacksterKForge.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Panda. How are you? I keep saying everybody's name, but you know what? Here we are. That's the life we live.
Yes.
Please tell us your pronouns.
She, they, he, him, daddy, all of them.
Daddy. Love
Yes,
it.
for daddy.
Love it. All right. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a polyamorous, pansexual Puerto Rican. I stream on Twitch, and my channel is known for being a lot raunchy and a lot wholesome, a little bit of both. I'm a mental health advocate and LGBTQ 2+, IA2+ advocate as well, if I could say that correctly. It could be in chat. Hi guys. Raunch some content.
You know what? I love that.
I like that. Yeah.
I like that a lot. So, why did you decide to take part in today's discussions?
I think it's important to have a lot of these conversations out in the open and talk about where we're coming from, because a lot of people hear, all the commotion that's going on with Black Lives Matters, with hate is a virus, but it's different when you're in it. It's different when it's happening to you, and it's so important to sit there and share our point of view and share what we're going through, and let our allies and our advocates know where we're coming from. And if I can be a part of that, then that's awesome.
You know what? I agree with you. That was
Thank you.
beautiful. What are 3 fun facts about you?
I just turned 39 years old a couple weeks
Right.
ago. That's
First of
number
all,
one.
happy belated birthday, and you don't look a day over 22.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just saying.
I'm a mom. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. I also have a husband and a wife, and I'm a digital artist and a crochet.
Love that. I like that. And where can people find you?
Literally everywhere, I'm Lil Lady Panda. There's no other Lil Lady Panda. So on Insta, on Twitter, on Etsy, on Twitch, La Lady Panda.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. And Papa, I have no idea who you are. Who is this beautiful being on my screen?
Aw.
What are your pronouns, my friend?
I use he and him and Papa Bear.
I like
But
that.
anything respectful is always good.
I like
Sir,
that.
daddy, you know.
Listen, there's a lot of daddies here, and all this
Exactly.
daddy energy is
Love the
making me
daddy
feel some
energy.
kind of way. Why are you taking part in today's discussion?
Um, I think I think it's to help me get more comfortable, right? I'm gonna start there because I have been talking about for the last 2 years now, probably, starting a podcast. And I have been putting a lot of energy into doing it, but because of imposter syndrome and a lot of other stuff, it's been very slow moving. And I've been picking up momentum, and I got to do this once before, and I loved it. And I was invited to come back and do it again. And these topics are very important to me for all of the reasons that have been shared thus far. But I think, um, my mother, my mother taught me to stand up for what I believed in as a kid. And as a teenager, I got in trouble for it all the time. And now I get paid to do it.
There
And
you go.
so I always want to make sure that I am doing just that. And so it's conversations like this that are even better than getting paid for it, because you really get to dig in and build relationships and learn. And that's really important to me.
Yeah, well said, well said. What are 3 fun facts about you?
I'm gonna tell you how old I am because you won't believe me, but I'm 43.
What?
Oh.
You're right. I don't believe you.
Well,
The wizardry. What is this?
It's those Latin genes, I tell you. But yeah, I'm 43. Fun facts. I used to run a organization that produced the largest kinky street festival in New York City.
We'll talk later.
Yes. And what else? I don't know. I mean, all of the things that I said earlier today that maybe folks didn't hear me say, but I'm pan, I'm poly, I'm kinky, I'm body positive, I'm HIV positive. Like, all of these things that make me up as a person are things that I carry with me all the time, and I'm very comfortable talking about them. So that's a fun fact about me. I'll talk about
Well, thank
anything.
you. Hell yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. Well, I mean, let's just get into the meat and potatoes of all of this, right? Who in your content creation journey or your gaming journey, or exactly what you're doing, who has been, a source of inspiration for you? And what are your goals? Like, what do you see yourself doing in like 5 years, 10 years, stuff like that with your content? Anybody can go.
I guess I'll start.
Okay.
I don't have an inspiration. I don't see
Mhm.
a whole lot of representation for people like me, on a big scale.
Mhm.
So my inspiration is myself and my community, wanting to be for them what I don't have. And my
Yeah.
goals are to be that on a larger scale.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really important because, we unfortunately there are certain demographics of people that are severely underrepresented and almost forgotten about. So it's really, really, really good to see, Puerto Rican people coming out and actually like saying, "Hey, we're here, pay attention."
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I get that a lot because I actually don't know any other indigenous or Native American streamers.
I
I
know
think I
one
know
other.
one. I think I know one, but I accidentally ran into them uh just like in an Apex game or something. And
mhm,
started following. So my inspiration would it used to be like really big streamers and content creators
mhm. Yeah.
like Markiplier, Jackster, big names like that. But now that I've been streaming for so long, and I'm starting to get more into communities like the one organizing this today. I'm starting to get more inspiration from people like us here
Mhm.
today, and friends I met in the Twitch community. Like
That's
my friend Nivna, who was on this before.
Yes.
I'm really big in her community, and she's the one that introduced me to this.
awesome.
And I
That's
get a lot
awesome.
of
I love that.
inspiration from her.
I love that.
I think my answer is like a combination of both of those because
Yeah.
I think that the thing that made me want to start a podcast was that I feel like I live in New York City. I've worked in queer nonprofit for the last 10 years. I've run a nonprofit. I work at a nonprofit. I'm now on another nonprofit's board. And I just meet all of these really amazing people. And
Mhm.
from all different walks of life who have all different kinds of lived experience. And the stories that I hear and that I get to share and be a part of because of all of this amazing work that happens. Some really tragic and horrible, some really amazing and beautiful, are just things that I want to amplify. And because my goal is to fuck up the narrative. Because
Oh
we
yeah.
are constantly told that we are supposed to be something or behave a certain way or they're expected to be something, right? And as someone who up until a year ago weighed 400 pounds and was constantly on the go, there wasn't anybody like me doing any of that. And, and then I had weight loss surgery and I lost 170 pounds.
Hell yeah.
And this past year has been, for a lot of us, I think, just so self-reflective. Like we really were forced to just turn internally and we couldn't get away from ourselves and not pay attention to the person or the people that we were with.
Mhm.
And so I think that I find a lot of inspiration from that and just being able to uplift stories, be an example. Like I want other people to know that it's okay to step out and shed light on things and say things because
Yeah.
all of our voices matter. And that sounds
Yeah.
so cliche, but it really is true. And so I think the more people that we can talk to and if we can just create spaces where people get to learn, then that's helpful.
Definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with
Yeah.
that.
Hello, I'm the voice in the ceiling. Good to see you all. You're all doing incredibly well, and I'm very proud of all of you. I'm just here to drop off a friend, and then I shall fritter away. Here is a Stevo.
Sounds good.
Adios.
Hello, Stevo.
Hello.
Hi, new friend.
That was very voice of God X.
Right? Hello, Conscience, is that you? Just kidding, I don't have one. Stevo, hello.
I'm here. What's
Okay,
up? What's up?
okay.
What's up?
Hey, Stevo, welcome on into the insanity. Love it, masked up. Real quick. Just introduce yourself. Let the people know your pronouns and where they can find you.
Got you. My pronouns are he, him, maybe they. I'm still getting used to the pronouns, understanding how they work. Can everybody hear me okay? You hear me
Yes.
pretty cool? All right, cool. You find me everywhere, basically. Visionary Steve-O. It might be an underscore, it might not be an underscore. I don't do the TikTok. I heard you talking about TikTok earlier, Raven. I don't do the TikTok. But yeah, mostly everywhere. And then Instagram, Facebook. Well, Facebook too. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all your streaming platforms. I make music, so yeah, that's my little intro. Any other questions for me?
Yeah, real quick. What made you want to join us in this discussion?
Ooh, I was challenged by a good friend of mine, Jenny. It's one of the homies. So Jenny,
I love Jenny.
Jenny took me. Well, she gave me she sent me a tweet. She sent me a tweet from after Amos, I believe, and I sat on it. And I was like, no, I'm really like a talkative person. I'm not a real outgoing person, but I could talk all day and night. And so I just took up the challenge, and I'm still learning as I go. And then some of my questions were answered as I did the sign up form. As as like what this podcast or this conversation is really for. So yeah, I basically took it up on the challenge, basically from somebody else. I saw a tweet and was like, why not? Why not reach out and meet more people? Especially more people that look like me or that, what I'm saying, that understand a little bit more. You feel me? I think that's the biggest key.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us.
No doubt.
Metal, we're gonna swing back to you about who is your biggest inspiration and where do you see your content going, and what are your goals in the content creation space?
Well, I'm definitely going to take a mixture of what Jax Panda definitely said about just your yourself being your inspiration and being inspired by other people of color in the community. Because as a kid, just like liking everything not stereotypical, I was definitely always by myself when I was younger.
Mhm. Oh
I
God, I
don't
get that.
yeah, I didn't I'm just, like, thinking back to my childhood right now. I'm not gonna say it was depressing, but it was just, like, thinking to myself, like, "Why did you like so many things that no one else liked? And why were you, like, into that? And why did you, like, exclude yourself?" And that's not, like, the question I should be asking, right? I liked what I liked, I was
Mhm.
being myself,
Mhm.
and I wasn't around people who were into people accepting themselves. Like, kids are harsh when they're younger. I got made fun of. Like,
Mhm.
I couldn't get caught listening to Linkin Park. I had to be listening to like Lil Kim. I like ooh, my camera. Hi, camera.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, I'll let it do its thing. But I do like all kinds of music, but when I was younger, I was just like really into hard rock and just do my thing, and I just never told anyone because I was made fun of. And
Yeah.
so being in that in it, and it's very true, like what Panda said, like being your own inspiration like got me through those hard times. And then finally when I went off to college, meeting other people of color, especially other Black women who liked harsh music and metal music, was like the thing that was like, oh my God, I'm not alone. I can keep doing what I'm doing. And so in terms of a very specific person, um this is of recently. It was just strange it's just so strange how people of color are so like actively written out of history. And
Yeah.
so there's this band, and I'm a big grunge nerd. I love grunge to death. And there's this band named Bam Bam in the 80s, Black female fronted Tina Bell. They started grunge. It wasn't really Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, or Alice in Chains. It was Tina Bell, and she just got tired. She was tired of being booed off stage and called the N-word and all that. So she just was like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm not going to try anymore." And that I feel like that's the story with a lot of creators.
Yeah.
We just kind of get tired and I'm just like, yeah, I'm in the space because I want to be and I genuinely love everything about this industry, whatever it might be. But I'm like tired of dealing with how hard it is for me. And I need a break. And that's okay to
Yeah.
take a break.
Mhm.
But people need to realize that how often that shit happens. Like how severe gatekeeping is where you're just making people just like making people of color who you say you want a diverse community, but you're doing this and then you're making them give up and just not want to deal with it anymore. So whenever people ask like, "Oh, why aren't there that many people of color in this community?" That's why.
Yeah,
Check your
absolutely.
community, figure it out, and what they're doing to
It's
exclude.
exhausting.
Yeah, yeah.
It really
Um,
is.
absolutely. So my goals are just to kind of honestly keep being me, and keep putting myself out there, keep shouting my love for metal music and horror games, and keep streaming, and yeah, and hopefully, I mean, I didn't really mention this before, but I do have a YouTube channel. It's kind of neglected, but I still get messages to this day from young Black women who are like, "Oh, I found you at this 8-year-old video, and I'm so happy that you exist and you like metal like I do." So it's just those little things,
Yeah.
that kind of keep me going. So that's my answer.
Really quick before we get to you, Steve-O, I just want to comment. That whole childhood thing, I remember specifically listening to Linkin Park on the back of the bus on the way home on my little Walkman. Yes, those were things. I am that old, okay? And I had I had some little white boy tell me that I couldn't listen to Linkin Park because I was Black.
Yep. Heard that many times. So
Right?
ridiculous.
In there.
So I just like I can relate to you with that very specifically because as an alternative person of color, not only are you getting ostracized by white people, but you're getting ostracized by your own as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all
Oh yeah,
sides.
I
Yeah.
got picked on by my own family members for listening to alt music in my teens. They're like, "What are
Yeah.
you listening to?" I had to listen to it with earphones on. I wasn't allowed to listen to it out loud. But my
Yeah.
sister could blast her rap with everybody cursing and everything, and my mom didn't care. Like my own mom was like, "What are you listening to?"
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
Remember
Um,
being called the Oreo? That was the thing.
oh,
Oh,
I
Twinkie,
remember that.
Twinkie,
God.
Oreo, all those terrible
Oh my
terms.
Yeah.
God.
I think for Puerto
Mhm.
Ricans it's coconut, which
What?
is
What?
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it's
I'm allergic
coconut.
to coconut.
Yeah,
That's
because
oppressive.
yeah.
I really don't like people. I'm sorry. Like, I really don't.
I don't either.
Okay. Kind we're oh, God. Okay. Sorry.
Please stop comparing people to foods, right?
Steve-O, who has been one of your biggest inspirations in the content creation space and what
Ooh,
are your goals?
good question. One of my biggest inspirations would probably be oh shit, and that's a hard, excuse my language. That's a hard because I'm at a point in my content creation now where it's like the person that did inspire me is kind of showing their true colors, and I'm
Mm,
wise enough now to be like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that.
mm,
So like my original inspiration was Ill Mind. Ill is a song J. Cole, Love Yours. He was the one who produced that. If anybody's like familiar with it,
mhm,
um, so real cool dude, real dope individual. But when it comes down to business and other things, like I'm just not at that level to accept to operate at that level. So it's kind of more shifted back towards my core values, my family, um, my true supporters. You know what I'm saying, like my fans, or you know what I'm saying, the people that have my back, or you know what I'm saying, that do the shit that's free. You know what I'm saying, like those are my
mhm.
biggest inspirations. Because shit, I'd be lost in this world kinda if it wasn't for that. You know what I'm saying? I would still be struggling with my formula to be like, damn, is this working? Is that working? Do I change it? Do I keep it the same? Do I keep
Yeah.
going? Do I stop? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what it's really been my family and like my supporters. It's kind of been like, all right, cool. Stream, started streaming in August. Like that's just what keeps me, like that got me more consistent in my workflow, kind of in my
Yeah.
music flow. So less music block and more just creation, more just having fun. You know what I'm saying? Less expectations, you know what I'm saying? Just all type of, you know what I'm saying? Being able to like move freely and not like put these boundaries on yourself in a music kind of industry or like hobby, if you will, and trying to not compare yourself is like the biggest challenge, I believe.
Yeah.
Some of my goals is to really, really trying to shift more into a business mindset with music, but also at the same time get out of. So one of my biggest goals for streaming is to get out of working. So like whenever I'm streaming, to me it feels like I'm working. So I want to like work out of that because I don't want to feel. I think it takes away from my audience. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't. It's hard for me to look at my screen, look at my machine, which is like my B-pad, and focus on the chat. So for me, it's kind of like figuring out a way to, you know what I'm saying, maybe more dig deeper in myself, like figure out what I like that other people may like. It could be video games, movies, TV shows. I work in the kitchen. Most of my work experience is culinary, so it could be watching foodie videos. You know what I'm saying, like different things like that. Like, so I want to. Well, I'm probably known most for DJing and or making beats and DJing on Twitch, but those are. I always feel like I'm working. It feels like I'm working to make a playlist. It feels like I'm working to push out a beat, which is cool. You know, I still am able to connect and you know what I'm saying, and give reviews and give feedback and brighten somebody's day. But those are only for music people. I want to open it up to, you know what I'm saying, everybody kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's more to me and there's more to the world and there's more to my audience as well. It's like, oh shit, you like that too? Yeah. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Like things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So making music doesn't necessarily get you that. Maybe playing music does. So that's why I kind of dibble and dabble into DJing. But then there's another side of the hill basically that I see that I just haven't been able to figure out. Like, what's the best way to, like, do I take that route or do I take this route kind of thing? It's there though. I see it on the other side. I just don't know what it looks like, if that makes sense.
It does.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't have like specific goals, but I do have like ideas in mind that I kind of want to get to. Maybe more so like philosophies or like ideas that I want to get to, and then once I hit that level, I could be like, all right, I want this, that, and my main goal is to hit 1,000 by my birthday, which I believe I'm on track to do. Birthday's in October. I get about 100 followers a month, so I think I think I can get there. I think I will get there. And then that's just kind of, and then to build a computer, like that's because my laptop fucking crashes all the time. So those are my main like monetary goals. Other than that, it's just, you know what I'm saying, it's just staying creative and staying dangerous shit. That's really all it is, you know what I'm saying? And not physically dangerous or want to chop somebody's head off. Dangerous is just, you know what I'm saying, staying aware and being prepared, you feel me? That's kind of how that's just kind of how I see it. You know, to stay prepared and stay ready and stay creative. You know what I'm saying? That's really, and don't put no limits on yourself. You know, that's kind of those are kind of some things I live by. And
I just want to say,
try to remind myself, you know?
I just want to say real quick, I did sign up to chop off heads. I'm just saying. Okay, that's it. That's all.
Those are good tips, though.
Stay dangerous. Stay dangerous in every way, in every form.
Sometimes it needs to be done.
Right. I mean,
do what you got to do.
I'm just saying. Jax,
a quick note from the ceiling god. Don't get me banned, Raven.
I'm not
no removing heads.
No. You remove heads in video games. I'm not talking about removing actual heads. That's a lot of work, and I don't have time.
For legal purposes, that was a joke.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Okay, Jax. Did I ask you? Forgive me, because I have ADHD, and I don't remember.
What?
I asked you about your goals and stuff, right?
Yeah,
he was second. I got you. I got your
I'll
back.
just see myself out. Y'all have a good.
I've already done the host gig once. I'm not taking over. Just saying.
I'm sorry. All right. Okay, we're good. Back on track, right? Once a day? Jeez. All right. So the next topic is trolls. which is one of my favorite, if I can say so myself. How do you deal with trolls, whether you're live streaming or in a social media setting?
Blocking usually works. Just
Blocking
blocking
is good.
them out. Bringing the
Blocking is
I
good.
love it.
banner out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take a kind of like a mother stance on it. I
Mhm.
look at it as a child. I probably shouldn't. Most of them are adults, but I look at them as someone who's A, looking for attention,
Mhm.
and B, looking to get educated. So a lot of the times my moderators are real quick to drop that hammer, but I know that they're still watching. So I'll
Mhm.
drop in information like maybe you're looking for that kind of attention because you feel bad about yourself today, and
Yeah.
if you do feel bad about yourself, go get help.
Mhm.
But I know that there are much more creative and fun ways to take care of them. But for me, it's just this I take it as a learning opportunity. Maybe it's just the big mama bear in me, but I just feel like that's what they're like. And I've had people who've been banned. For those of you that don't know, I used to be a partner on Mixer before
Mhm.
that happened. Um,
Oh, I saw the
and
eye roll. I saw that.
but I've had on Mixer more than Twitch. I've had a lot far less trolls on Twitch, which I was not expecting. But on Mixer, I've turned trolls into community members. They
Mhm.
came saying something like, "You're fat, you're ugly, you don't look anything like your picture," and then I've turned those people into community members who have been around for a long time in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that calling in,
Mhm.
because I try to do that
Yeah.
too. And people tell me I have a lot of patience. Maybe sometimes too much patience. Um, because
I don't
it can be
always.
tiring. Yeah, I think it
I don't
depends on my mood
always.
too.
I think
Uh,
it also depends on how they're coming in. Like if they come in
yeah,
and they're just like, "You're fat or you're ugly," I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's nice that you have an opinion on what I look like. I don't get to have an opinion on what you look like." But then there's some people who come in absolutely grotesque, and my only response is to protect my mental health, and my
yeah,
moderators know ban, block, move on. We don't
yeah,
even address it. So one or the other.
yeah.
Y'all are
Yeah.
nice.
I know, right? I was gonna say
Y'all are nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, most of the trolls I get are, based in racism.
Yeah.
And I have obviously I mentioned YouTube already, and to this day I still get comments, and I think this is something everyone can relate to. Like, if you're in an industry that you are not supposed to be in, you're gonna get questions and like assumptions like, oh, what are you doing? You don't know anything about this. Why are you talking about this? And then of course you get the straight up N word. And how I deal with that, I love calling out. I'll just take a screenshot and post it on Twitter and have everyone have some commentary on it. Because again, there's like no tolerance for anything race related.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
agree with that.
Yeah.
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 No tolerance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just saying y'all are nice. Y'all are real nice. Cause me, I don't do any of that shit. Okay? Like you're taking the time to come in and be malicious towards me. I'm going to give you the attention you seek. And you are going to regret it. Because I'm going to turn you into content.
Like that.
Because
I mean, they gave you the opportunity. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for their
right.
throat.
And the thing
I don't have
is
the
like,
energy.
look, I already take care of 2 children, all right? Like I'm not when I sit down in this chair, like I am fully Raven. I'm not mom, I'm not wife, I'm not whoever. I'm Raven. So if you are coming into my house, my place of work, and you're asking to speak to the manager in a not nice way, you're going to get me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear that.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
That's fair.
and I know that's not everybody's way of dealing with things, and that's fine. But that's the way I deal with things because you're not going to come up and disrespect me without me literally stopping everything and making you look you're going to look foolish.
Yeah. My channel rules say I'm a mom. I'm not your mom. Come correct.
It's like sad that you even have to say that. Like,
Right.
That's facts. Facts.
Yeah.
I haven't
It
I
just
haven't had to really deal with trolls. Not
yeah.
physically. It's more like musical trolls. It's people that's bad music, but then I also ask myself, what is bad music? It's just music that
Yeah.
you don't like. So it's all subjective. For me, it's
yeah.
just it's really just providing. I never try and put nobody down, because a lot of people take this shit personally. I take it personally. I'm very emotional, so I can only if I'm like that, I can only imagine that somebody is other people out there like that. So I usually try and give like context with criticism. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
criticism with context rather. That way you kind of have some pointers to kind of build off of, and it's not just like, all right, my shit sucks, but it's like, all right, how can I kind of, what do you think I should do, or how can I maybe get better? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not the best in the world, but I mean, shit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else's words help me, so I know my words can help somebody else. So it's always just, you know what I'm saying, criticism or, you know what I'm saying, a little more feedback, my 2 cents. And
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I don't take it too serious because it's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, do
Mhm.
what you do, take it how you feel. It can go through one ear, out the other. You know what I'm saying? Go in one ear and stick. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you. You feel me? So never really had trolls, but for the most part, is if it's too like over the top, automatic ban. I usually try. I got a lot of patience.
See,
Yeah.
But I haven't really had to deal with anything racial either. I haven't had to deal with that yet.
that's
You know, so
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
I'm very white passing, but on my channel I have a lot of information about Black Lives Matters, about hate and the virus, things like that, and I talk about it on a daily basis. So I get a lot of trolls in my chat that want to challenge that and they want to
Mhm.
take over my
Mm,
content and say, you know what? All lives matter, or this, or that. Or they'll say, derogatory, incendiary things, waiting for me to stop my content to address them and defend myself. And
Mhm.
I have made a stance of you do not control my content. You don't control the commentary here. We're not
Mhm.
going to talk about that. You either support it or you don't. You can stay or you
Right.
can leave, or I can force you to go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 So
I
now,
haven't.
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. I haven't dealt with much like of the racist trolls just because I am pretty light skinned, and most people assume that I am white. But although I have been called savage before, just not like, oh, that guy's savage, just like you are a savage, which I thought was really weird and I thought was out of date. But
Yeah.
Too
that's
many
usually
Disney
not,
films.
I guess. But I've never gotten racial trolls, but I have gotten trolls that are like, because of the mask and my image. Oh, you're stealing from or you're stealing from a YouTuber called H2O Delirious, which I am a fan of him, but he has his own thing. Mine, we both wear masks and are wear hoodies, and that's about the only connection, really.
Mhm.
But I get that so often, and I try to ignore it. But there was a couple times where I was like, I like needed to address it. I'm like, no, I'm not ripping this guy off. Like I
Mhm.
know who he is. I'm not ripping him off. This is my own design. He wears like a complete Jason mask. This is not Jason. Though it is a hockey mask, most of my images don't have. I mean, this one is actually. They don't have the hockey mask holes in them,
Mhm.
at least. But it's mostly that.
So
And I do
now,
get some of my friends. They will have like a remark where it's like, oh, something. Your people lived in teepees, kind of lines, like something like that. I was like, not like every native tribe lived in teepees. My people, I'm Senecan, and we lived in longhouses, and like we're not all teepees and caricatures of like the Western depiction of Native Americans.
yeah, yeah. So now, kind of spin off, do you think there's a difference in male presenting people of color and female presenting people of color in the troll space?
I do. I feel like women get more hate just in general in the gaming community than men do, whether we're people of color or not. I'm interested to hear Metals. Have you ever come across anything like that in the gaming space? I mean, any
Um,
trolls?
I definitely I haven't been streaming for a long time, so I haven't gotten too many trolls yet. I can definitely talk your ear off about trolling in the music scene for sure.
Mhm.
Um, just the way that Black women are fetishized in anything that it's just the strangest and most insane thing.
Mhm.
Even just showing up to just okay. So being in this scene, it's just like people want to either fetishize you, they want to be like, "Oh, you're a Black woman who likes white things. You must like white men too." And I'm like, "Wow, that is ridiculous." And then you'll get the people who just hate you
Yeah.
and just really go after you. I've had some concerns at like, you know, concerts and being followed and stuff, so I don't really go to concerts that much anymore. But it's just from that perspective, I've definitely gotten a lot of trolling and a lot of backlash, but not specifically in the game community yet. I know it's going to come the longer I stream. But yeah, that's kind of what my experience is so far.
Yeah. I think unfortunately there is still like this really odd stereotype of female presenting people being inferior. So if you tie that with any form of non-European beauty standard, it just increases the probability of having someone try to come in and tear you down constantly. And people will come out of left field with very, very, very bogus ideas and really try to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I can only speak from my experience and what I have seen, but I think that there is definitely an issue with femmes of color being ostracized more, especially on social media as well.
I completely agree. I've come across more hate for being a woman than hate for being Hispanic. For just being a woman.
Yep. Yeah. And
I think just sorry, go ahead.
no, you go, because I'm done talking. You go.
But I think it's also like that's apparent in also just how hard, if you are not a pretty white boy, how much harder you have to work to get noticed. Just in general. Like if you are not the
They don't have to
epitome
be pretty
of
either.
no, you just have to be
A white boy.
a white boy.
Yep.
And people will pay attention to you.
Yes.
And you don't even have to try as hard as people of color do. And then add layers of marginalized identities, and then it's work harder, work harder, work harder. Children.
Little baby. That's my youngest. I'm gonna turn off my camera in case he comes out of the bathroom.
That's fair. That's fair. I totally understand that. But continue. I'm sorry, Papa.
No, I just I obviously I don't know what it's like to be a female content creator because I'm not, but I can think about like spaces where I've been, and just because of my size, like the same thing happens. The fetishization of being a big guy, or just the all out like, well, no one wants to look at you because you're fat, right? So it's like it's one or the other. There's no, yes, there are people that want to be there to just sort of experience whatever is happening, but I think that it's that dichotomy of like the internet is a beautiful and a dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing about humanity too.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I say this a lot, and I make a lot of people upset when I do say it. But people of color have to work 10 times harder to get where a mediocre white person gets.
Yep.
Fair. Put that on a t-shirt.
Right? And that is also included in, the way you handle trolls.
Yeah.
Because I know that if a white woman did what I do with trolls, that woman would probably be revered.
Yeah.
Where me, when I do it, some people enjoy it, but then you should see my DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you so harsh? Why do you have to come at people so hard?
Why are you such an angry Black woman?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't I guess from my perspective, like I see myself as a very pretty approachable, nice person, but when I start speaking with an affirmative tone, then suddenly I'm like angry because I am trying to communicate to you. I'm talking in a serious tone, but now it's like, oh, you're being too harsh. So there's just this automatic like knockdown of Black women specifically, where it's just like you can't be affirmative, you can't say what you want, you can't know what you want without being called aggressive and harsh. Like, so what tone do you want from me? That is the question I want to ask them too. Like, what tone are exactly do you want from me? Because like that
Don't
is
ask them.
Oh yeah.
Don't ask them. Just say this is the tone you're gonna get. I'm sorry,
Just
it triggers me.
stop tone policing.
But yeah, very frustrating aspect of just being a person of color and saying what you want, and then people dismissing you because you're either being too harsh or for various reasons.
Don't come at me like that. Well, I mean,
Don't
what
come
do
at
you
me like
expect?
that.
Exactly. No, I'm obviously Afro Latino. I have a lot of people in my family who are much darker than I am, but even in my relationships in my 20s and things like that, I would have date people who would tell me, "You're always talking with an attitude." Like, no, I'm talking normal. You hear an attitude. There is no
Oh, Lord.
attitude in my voice. They project it. They really do. It's in their heads, I swear.
You know the amount of times I've been called, "Oh, you're so intimidating. You're so intimidating."
Yes. Yes. Yes.
No,
I
I'm
get that all the
confident, bitch. There's
time.
a difference.
Yes.
I hate that. I'm intimidating because I know my worth.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you have a voice and you use it. That's intimidating. Okay, I'll
You
be
can kiss my
intimidating
whole
then. I'm gonna
ass.
own it. I'm gonna own it. I will
You
be
can kiss my
intimidating then.
whole ass. Call me
Yes.
intimidating. I don't care. Kiss my whole ass. Because I'm not here for you. That's just where I'm at. But no, it really is a very interesting, topic of conversation. And I don't think a lot of people talk about it enough.
Yeah, that's where you get the microaggressions of where you hear people tell you things like, "Oh, you're Spanish? Oh, you're Black, but you're so articulate."
Ugh.
Excuse
Heard
me?
that all the time.
That's not a compliment.
No.
Heard that a lot in college.
Right?
Mhm.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. It's not at all. Or well, you're really pretty for a Black girl.
Or for a fat
Yep.
girl.
Or, yep. Or even, honestly, let's talk about colorism
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
gaming space.
For a dark skin girl. That's not okay.
Yeah. Because, please forgive me, I'm not saying I believe this, but I'm sure that people would look at me a little bit more friendly than they would look at you, Middle.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm mixed. I'm Black and white, and actually Jewish in there. But you know what? Who's counting? But they will absolutely look at a light-skinned Black person with more reverence than our darker melanated people.
Right.
Which is
It's almost like they
disgusting.
rate it on an acceptance level. Like you are
Yes.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Now, like I said, a lot of my family is more Afro Latino presenting. I am the lightest one by far. But I've been in situations where I've faced racism because I'm with one of my brothers or sisters who has the curly hair, has the darker skin, and it's painful to see. It's painful to deal with, and I don't understand it. I wish it was different. I just
Mhm.
do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just one of those things too. It's just, you know, the likelihood of someone approaching me, someone new who's you know, has to interact with me. They're looking at me from the with a glass half empty. They're like setting
Mhm.
me as an inferior. And so, and this is like, this comes to microaggressions. Like I can totally tell when I was working in retail, I knew the people who didn't really want to have talk to me just by
Mhm.
the way they talk to me. Of course, for my white coworker, they get all the smiles, everything, but I had to
Mhm.
work harder and smile more and be put on my super I'll just call it white accent to make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
To
Oh,
make them
jeez.
feel comfortable. And so I can help them and do my job. So that's been the people of color life. Like you get approached like you're just half of them all the time. And you gotta try to act okay.
And
Yeah.
placate their fragility.
White
Like I can't
fragility is a hell of a drug.
for real. Like
It
it's like
really is.
I can't tell you how many times I've been in spaces where people because white people are also just fucking blind too. Because I've been in so many spaces where like someone will say something and I'll be like, you realize that my last name is Lopez and you just said what you said, right? Like just because I look white doesn't mean that like I'm not here. Like, and I'm not
They've
gonna
gone their
co-sign
whole
the shit that
lives.
you're saying.
Exactly. But
Mhm.
they've gone their whole lives being allowed to say whatever they want to say.
Mhm.
Right.
They don't have to. They haven't been conditioned to think before they speak. We have.
Yeah.
We have
Because
to
we have
be
to.
cognizant. Exactly. We have to be cognizant of what we say for our own safety. They've
Yeah.
never had that. They've never had to deal with that. So they can say whatever they want to say without consequence because most of their lives, anything they say is without consequence.
Right.
Yeah, we see that all the time. And honestly, this is kind of dipping into the next topic, which is experiencing obvious differences based off of our skin color and how we are treated as people of color. Even those who are white presenting, once they identify themselves, it's almost like you could see the person's face, they feel betrayed.
Yes.
Yep.
Like you were
Yeah, that
supposed to
was
be one of
exactly what I was
us,
thinking. I was like,
Yes.
right?
So
you're a
we're
traitor.
yeah, so we're getting I'm so excited about getting these new tags. But because we didn't have the tags in my titles, I always use English/Spanish so that people know that I'm Spanish. Because
Mhm.
like I said, I'm very white presenting. I don't have any kind of Spanish accent, even though I'm 100% fluent. But I want people to know that I'm Spanish. I want people to feel comfortable in this space. I definitely don't want a situation where people warm up to me and then all of a sudden they realize, wait, you're Spanish? And then they
Mhm.
back off a little bit because that does happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been using the English Spanish thing. So I relate to that a lot.
So, Jax, have you been in a situation where somebody is speaking to you, and then as soon as you identify yourself as an indigenous person, they start treating you differently?
I've had it quite a few times. I remember when I was younger, it was kind of the other way around because I live on a reservation. There's
Mhm.
a lot of other indigenous Native Americans,
Mhm.
obviously. But I was so light skinned as a kid. I used to been by the other natives. I used to been called white boy a lot. And then it wasn't until my mother's side actually, because there is quite a few. There's a few like big families of natives here with very popular last names. It wasn't until the others realized my mother's last name, and that's when that stopped happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I've also had it with a couple Canadians because
That
for
must have
some
been tough.
reason that they don't really like Indigenous people in Canada. I hear that almost all the time here on the res because I live in New York. We're really close to the Canadian border, and I hear
Mhm.
that from a lot of the natives around here that Canadians don't like natives. Um, I think that's the only time that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
I'm light skinned enough where it usually passes.
Yeah. I get that. Steve-O, have you been in a situation, and I'm only asking because I've been in this particular instance of stupidity, where you may be talking to somebody on the phone, preparing to meet them face to face, and then they kind of look at you and think that you don't match your voice.
Oh, job interviews. Plenty of times. Um, I haven't had it confirmed, but I'm almost for certain it's crossed people's minds before.
Mhm.
Um, just because I consider myself well spoken, and I'm able to code. I think it's called code switching. So I'm
Yes.
from a
Yep.
city, so I you know what I'm saying. I know how to talk to my people, and then I know how to hold myself in a certain. And I know how to talk to my teachers. I know how to talk to my superiors. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's always been taught to me. My last name is very Jewish, right? So
Mhm.
my whole life I've always had to like, damn, am I Jewish? Am I Hebrew? Every time I'm in school, so first name, last name. You got a white name. My first name Steven, last name Bernstein, right? So very, very Jewish. To this day, I don't know if I'm Jewish, but hell, I would like to at least have the money that the Jewish people had somewhere down the line. Um, so I think it hasn't happened to me, but it's happened to my granddad before. Somebody
Mhm.
that was born in the '40s, grew up in the '60s. Like his prime was in the '60s. His prime is during the civil rights movement, segregation, right? So there's been times where he's had interviews. This is like some stories my mom told me where he's had interviews and they'd be like, "You? No, no, not you." He's like, "What you need? ID? My social? Birth certificate? Which one? Which one you need?" Because we all have very elegant names, but
Mhm.
we all come from a city background. You know what I'm saying? So we all know how to hold our own, basically, but we all know how to present ourselves in a certain way to be in order to garner that respect. Otherwise, you do now turn around. Now you got to work two, three, fourth times, five times harder just to regain your image back.
Yeah.
So I haven't had the encounter necessarily like on the phone. I've had it with. Uh, I remember my first day at public school. I got into a fight because I was light skinned. Third grade, I was bullied because I was light skinned, and shit didn't really start to turn around until I started fighting back. Basically, and it was like, all right, we're gonna stop messing with him because when to lose, draw, he gonna fight back. So I don't want to.
Mhm.
I don't want no deal with it. And then college was more so like, you from Chicago? And these are like people that are from Illinois as well, but they just come to the city to go downtown. I lived in Chicago from 3 to 4 all the way up until I went to Iowa. So for them, it was like, damn, like their image of a person from Chicago in 2013, 2014, when Chicago was at the height of what it is now, basically. Um, blew their mind essentially for me to, you know what I'm saying, for me to be able to hold myself a certain way and to basically be in the thick and thin, like, nah, you're not from the city, you from the suburbs. Like, no, y'all from the suburbs. I'm from the city. Y'all just try and implement and try and like, try to fit in basically with kind of the where you from. And that's not like, can't do that. So you can try, but you can't duplicate that realness basically. So for me, I just moved around a lot. I stayed in Bolingbrook for a year, which is probably like 30 minutes out of the city. I stayed in Forest Park for a year, but for the most part, I was in the city. I stayed on the south side, stayed on the north side. So I just seen so many different walks of life. My high school is Black, Asian. We had 4 white people in my high school,
Wow.
basically. So everybody else was Black,
Yeah, same.
Mexican, and Asian.
Mhm.
So I had a lot, and it was really Black and Latinos. I shouldn't say Mexican. I think that the proper term is Latino. So it's mostly African Americans, Latinos, and Asians that were dominating our schools. So you know what I'm saying? It's very diverse. So I was able to see different walks of life. I went to Penn State when I was in high school for 3 weeks. Hung out with rich white kids basically for 3 weeks, and that's when I was like, oh, okay, this is how this is. I had the opportunity, I had a scholarship basically. So like all of my like experiences came from great opportunities, and I either made the best of it or it didn't work out. But I always used that experience to basically ground me, or to, you know what I'm saying, use that as a privilege to carry myself better, you know, because I think first impressions or impressions are key. You know what I'm saying, like, you get one or two shots at it, and you know what I'm saying, like, now you have to work to change that, or you have to work to keep that up. So I always just kind of approach it. Now I wouldn't. I'll scratch what I was going to say. Now I'm kind of getting more into talking how I want to talk, being me. Like, this is what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how it's gonna be. Now I do know how to talk as proper as I can, but you know what I'm saying, I kind of want to work myself out of that because I'm tired. Because once you get into that room in a certain workspace, you now have to upkeep that. You now have to always talk proper, because as soon as you start using your slang, somebody may look at you sideways. And I'm tired of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is a part of me, you know what I'm saying? Like, the more I learn myself, that's when I'm kind of like, if that's how you talk, bro, that's how you talk. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to keep code switching and doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to hide and then
I
reveal.
think we can all relate to the code switching thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think after 2020 kind of, you know what I'm saying, solidified a lot of things for a lot of us to kind of be like, all right, like, there's no more, I don't have to hide to protect myself. I could be bold and protect myself as well, and still kind of maybe feel and hope that I have allies that's going to back me as well. Opposed to, you know, 5 years ago, it might be a little different. So yeah, it's still evolving, but even if that was to happen, like, I live for moments like that. I live for moments where it's like, oh, I didn't know that would be you. It's like, yep, that's me. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's not foreign to me anymore, but it's definitely like a thrill and a challenge to kind of like, oh man, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just kind of, it's no longer an offense for me. It's kind of a compliment, in my opinion, at this
Yeah.
point.
I like that. I like the switch of the mentality on that.
Yeah. Just to
Me too.
touch on a quick, I know you were talking about your name and how, people, just how you experience with your name. My first name's Ebony, so I can't really people know who they're talking to. And so I often think about, and I've had experiences where I definitely lost a lot of opportunities just because of my first name. I wouldn't even call it lost at this point. I dodged a lot of bullets because of my
That's fair.
name.
Yep.
Because
That's a
I
good
don't really
perspective.
know. Yeah, I don't really know what it is with I guess some white people, like, they just don't want to say ethnic names or find it uncomfortable or just obviously straight up racist. So like I've had people avoid saying my name, which is the strangest, absolute strangest thing. Um but yeah, I just wanted to just mention that because I kind of was on the other side of the spectrum with that.
Listen, yeah.
I used to yell at my mom because she gave me the whitest name out of my sisters and I.
I feel that. My
I
real
have a
name is
white name
Joey
too.
White. Yeah.
I do too.
Terry. Yeah, Marianne. Straight from the country.
I'd rather not use mine.
That's fair. That's fair.
Jax is perfect.
Jax's. I like that name.
That I got reminded. I usually when I tell usually a white person that I am Native American, the first thing they do is like, "Oh, I'm like 0.02% Navajo," and I was like, when I was younger, I moved to Cincinnati when I was about, I think, 12 for middle school, and my grandma, a very white Christian person, put me in a private Christian middle school, and all
Ugh,
white,
indeed.
completely all white. And it baffled me when I first heard this, but I heard some of the kids talking about the first time they seen a brown person or anyone of color. And I
No,
was like,
really?
it just baffled me because I'm Native American. There's people of all different colors. Like, there's light
Yeah.
skin and all the way to like really dark natives. But it just confused me. Like, there, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know
I'm
how
I'm with
someone could grow up like
Steve-O. I
that.
went to a predominantly Hispanic and Black and even indigenous school. Like there were literally 4 white people in my entire high school. So I'm on the opposite of the spectrum. I've never been
Growing up,
to
it
an
was
all-white
growing
school.
up in my hometown. It was very mixed. There's people of all different shades. But when I moved to Cincinnati, went to that private school, it was just all white.
I have a little bit of both because I started school where I grew up was very, very Latin, and there were white kids, but not many. But the way that the district was split, it was like all the people of color went to these schools and all the white people went to these schools.
Yep,
And then when we got
gerrymandering.
to high school, everybody was mixed, and so there were just all out riots because no one knew how to talk to each other. But when I was 11, my mom took a job and we moved to Kansas. And thankfully, we were only there for 6 months. But I remember getting there, and as light as I am, I was the only person of color in the entire grade.
Wow. That must have
And
been weird.
it was so weird. And they're like, "You're from New York?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "And you're Puerto Rican?" And I was like, "Yeah." And the first thing that one of the kids said to me was like, do you walk around with a razor blade in your mouth?" I said, "Yeah, let me show you." I was like, "Who the hell taught you that?" I'm
Steve,
like,
I did.
I actually did in high school walk around with a blade in my
yes,
mouth.
but like at
I
11,
went to
I was like, "What the fuck?"
The caucasity. Okay?
Caucasity.
The caucasity
I
of these
have
people.
I have a story of a friend from my hometown. She moved down south. I don't know exactly where, but she's light skinned Native American. She came back and she was telling us that when she was talking to the kids down there, they didn't know Native Americans still existed. They thought all natives went extinct.
Can't believe that.
Like,
That's
Ay, Dios.
crazy.
Again,
It's
the
not for the lack
caucasity.
of them trying.
Fucking Jesus.
We're gonna be
Wow.
learning this stuff.
Wow.
America's education system right there.
Yeah, number one. We're number one. God, it's so frustrating. I too have the curse of a white name. My first name is Jessica.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say at least it's not Jennifer, but
oh shit. Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna
oh,
hear something from that somewhere. Sorry, y'all.
My high school was predominantly white. I had one black teacher, and that was it. And I remember I think I was 9th or 10th grade, like I really loved math. And I had a teacher named Mr. Nardi, I will never forget, who was calling on me to answer a question, but he kept saying Gloria. And I was like, "Mr. Nardi, are you talking to me?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "My name isn't Gloria." He's like, "Well, it's a black name, isn't it?"
Oh my god.
Oh no.
He just expected you to answer because it was a black name?
Yep.
Wow.
Wow. Such
And
alienation.
so I had people calling me Gloria. And then saying, "Well, it's a black name, right?" And I was supposed to be okay with that.
No.
It's like how teachers literally don't allow AAVE language in the classroom. They'll tell you to speak correctly.
It is correct.
Exactly. It's its own language. But I grew up being told I wasn't allowed to talk like that. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, which is a very large Latin and Black community. And my teachers were all white. And all of my teachers told me, "You're not allowed to say ain't. You're not allowed to say certain things like that." I wasn't allowed to speak that way. I had to speak properly. Yeah. That was it's why I talk the way I talk now. I was
Yeah.
conditioned to speak like a white person.
Yeah. I mean, I code switch like nobody's business. But it's hearing everybody's stories, it kind of like I know it sounds shitty, but it makes me feel better because I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah. We're not
You know what I
alone.
mean?
Yeah.
And there's kind of like this solidarity in knowing that we all have been put through shit.
Yeah.
And we have to be stronger for it. Because the moment we show weakness, the fucking vultures will attack.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And just to go off of what you were saying, Raven, you sparked another story. Both math related. In like 8th grade, I loved math too. But they would not let me in the AP classes because they assumed I was fucking dumb. So I had to take a test and I aced it. And they finally let me in, but it was just
You go, girl.
growing. Thank you. But it's just like growing up and like looking back at that time, I realized how significant that was, where I was just like so adamant about, no, I want to be in this class. And what actually, like the reality of what was happening, they were suppressing me and keeping me. And it was just so weird, like as a kid, being put through all those things and looking back at it as an adult, I'm just like, wow, really?
Yeah. It's very interesting to be where I'm at now and look back at some of the things that have happened and be like, oh, wow. But a lot of it, I feel, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of it I feel we do to save face and keep ourselves safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, but like professionalism is like the biggest tool of white supremacy and oppression. Like the way that you're expected to show up at work in whatever work it is that you do. Like we've all just sort of talked about all of these experiences that we had and that we all internalize that. And then like we have to show up harder and work harder and do more than our white colleagues at work just to get paid.
Yeah.
Just to
we're not
get the
getting
same
anything extra.
recognition. No.
Yeah.
We're getting paid less too.
Yes.
Yep. Even in the content creation space, we are getting offered less, partnerships, sponsorships. I mean, there are some companies that are more progressive, but if you put two people with identical qualifications, the only differing factor is skin color, where do you think it's going to go?
Slide downward.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
yeah, Jenny.
Twitch is not exempt from real world issues. Because it is a large platform that harbors a lot of these real world issues.
Yep.
They're almost magnified online.
Yes, because people feel brave enough to really say what they are thinking, whether it's good or bad.
Without a filter.
Yep.
Without a filter at all. Without any fear of repercussion.
And
So
there's
it really
companies
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
No, go ahead. No, you started first.
I don't remember. It's fine. You could go.
I was just going to say that there's some companies who are progressive, and then there's some companies who are just vultures, who are taking advantage of Black Lives Matter, who are taking advantage of these things that want to tick off boxes and have colors up there to represent people to say, well, look how good we did. Now give us a pat on the back and hand me your money.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Saving face. Because, and listen, I'm going to call this out. We're seeing that right now with e.l.f. Cosmetics.
Yes, we are.
Right.
We are seeing that with e.l.f. Cosmetics. They have yet to issue an apology to all the marginalized creators that they hurt during this whole process. We are, as people of color, we are treated or mistreated, even though we are better than the white people that they hire.
It goes deeper than that. I mean, e.l.f. is not, they're just not only underrepresenting us, they're also completely overlooking the fact that there was already a Black person, a BIPOC run gamer cosmetics company in existence for over a year.
Yeah.
Gamer Glam Cosmetics has been around for over a year, and she's doing a fantastic job. And they're like, we're the first gaming company for it. No, you're not. And you need to apologize for that.
Yeah. Yep. they swooped in and tried to take credit for the work of others, which unfortunately is a theme for us.
Yeah. A diamond gal, by the way. I love gamer glam. Oh, I love it too.
I do too.
I have it in my bathroom.
Yeah. But it just it's sometimes it's hard to see the blatant hypocrisy that we as, Black, Indigenous people of color face just trying to survive.
But that's why we need these kinds of spaces
Mhm.
to explain our point of view, to show why it's unfair, why it's not okay, to show from our point of view how difficult it is for us. You can have people tell you all the time that's not true. It's not true that women have it harder. It's not true that people of color have it harder. Okay, then show me examples of women and people of color making millions of dollars a year in gaming content creation. It doesn't exist.
Mhm.
So
Or you
how
have
is it? Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. You have the people who will literally say, well, the only reason why you got this is because you're a woman or because you're Black or because you're Hispanic or because you're Indigenous or because of whatever
Right.
else. Because
Yeah.
your white fragility, which is a hell of a drug, has been, I don't know, fucked with on some plane of existence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their card has been revoked for a moment, and all of a sudden they're oppressed.
Yep.
There's
They
no
don't
way
even
of
know what
winning.
oppression is.
They have no clue.
They have no idea.
I don't understand wanting oppression. I don't understand that. Why would you want to be oppressed? Why would you want to understand why would you want to feel that? I understand wanting to understand where we're coming from. Bless you for that. Thank you for wanting to understand where we're coming from, but not from your own point of view, not from, well, I want to be oppressed so that I understand how badly it feels. And that doesn't
No.
make any sense to me.
Yeah, no.
No.
I get that sometimes from when I tell people that I'm indigenous, and they're like, "Oh, and they give that percentage of that very small percentage of some Western tribe I've never heard of.
Yeah. It's always the same two tribes. They're either
Like, oh, I
Cherokee
I
or Navajo.
can, yeah, it's either that, but it's either oh, I understand, or like I'm oppressed too because I'm part of this smart. I was like, yeah, but I lived with it all my life. I live on the reservation. Like, you can't compare
No.
Every time
whatever
someone says,
that
"Oh,
is
I'm part
to me.
native," you should ask them, "Oh yeah, what res are you from?"
Right.
Then you're not indigenous. If you didn't grow up in a res, or you have family that didn't grow up in a res, if you've never been in my shoes and dealt with the things that indigenous people have to deal with, then I don't think that you should be allowed to go around flaunting your 0.6%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Looking at you, Elizabeth Warren. Say what I said. Say what I said. Don't at me. But kind of to piggyback off that, I had a thought and now I'm losing it live. We do this all the time. This is what ADHD looks like, y'all. Crap. I completely forgot.
Is it to do with indigenous people or claiming for
You know what? It probably did. That's okay. Let's continue. I don't know. It'll come back to me eventually.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't like this is you know what? Actually, that's a good topic. We are already considered outsiders. And then if you add like queer to BIPOC or any form of mental health disorder with BIPOC, you get treated significantly differently.
Close the door.
Does do any of y'all have experience with that?
Yeah.
I've had that with family members before. I think it took my mom a long time to understand that I was pansexual. For the
Okay.
longest
Yeah.
time, she just told me I wasn't gay and just played it off and stuff. I was like, that's not what it's about. And it's like, it's just so much more, and some people just don't understand what being pansexual means. And I get, I'm sure the rest of you that are pansexual get the joke that they fuck pans constantly.
Yep.
That and it's so often, and but at this point, I'm just like, whatever, you know. Like I've heard
I
it
asked them if they
millions
want me
of
to show
times.
them.
uh, I'm gonna use that next time.
Right? You want me to
That's
show you?
great.
Come on. I
Yeah,
got you.
I was like, yeah, I do. You want to see?
My OnlyFans is a totally different link. Come on now.
Right.
But Papa, what were you saying about it? Like, how is there a specific instance in which you have felt that more than other times?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think one being mixed race, right? And so that's just always a constant. To always feel like I didn't even think I had dug into sort of the trauma that I've experienced in my life until I was much older. So like I said, I work for a nonprofit now. And the nonprofit that I work for is an organization that supports survivors of violence within the LGBTQ community. And I've been there for 8 years. I volunteered for that for 2 years before that. And so I don't even think that I started to unpack the trauma that I held from being mixed race and experiencing the world the way that I did until probably like 5 years ago, right? And like I'm 43 and I was in my 30s and realizing that all of this shit that happened and all of these things that were said to me were not okay. And they just felt like it was acceptable because I was mixed race. And I never felt like I fit in with the Latin community. I never felt like I fit in as a white person because I definitely didn't claim being a white person in the ways that white people claim things. And because I always just felt like, no, I don't want that. And I don't feel like that is who the person I want to be. And, you know, luckily, my mother put me in therapy when I was 8 years old. And so I've had a lifetime of therapy to sort of even think about some of this stuff. But I think that mental health, you know, my weight has always been a big thing. You know, I was 300 pounds by the time I was 14 years old. And so my entire life I've been a big boy. And I reclaimed that. And I learned how to love myself. And I learned what it meant to be a confident, sexy, big man.
I feel that.
And yeah. And like, and then I decided to have weight loss surgery. And I did, like, for a little while, I did a complete 180. And I was terrified that I wasn't going to love myself anymore. That was the thing I was most afraid of. I was afraid that I wasn't going to love this body that I have been in for my whole life, that I have learned to love and learned to appreciate and was confident in. And then it changed in what felt like overnight. You know, 170 pounds in 9 months is a lot of weight.
It's a lot.
To
It's
just
a whole
drop.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I walk around and I'm like, oh, I'm a skinny bitch. And I'm not skinny by far at all. Like I'm like 200. I weigh 280 pounds, and I'm still a big guy. But this is the skinniest I've ever been as an adult.
Yeah.
And I'm relearning, and I will continue to relearn because my body is changing. But we don't create space in the world for people to talk about these things. To feel uplifted or celebrated because they're doing the things that they're doing, because we're so quick to be like, this is the way that you're supposed to look. And when I talk about fucking up the narrative, it's not even just society at large. If you grew up Puerto Rican, what do you mean you're not eating? Why are you not eating?
Oh God.
Eat this.
I was the family garbage disposal. Just put it on her plate, she'll eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it is all of those things. And I think, you know, the thing that I love about these conversations is that we really do get to feel whole with community, because it's
Yeah.
one thing to feel whole by yourself, but then to hear other people who've gone through it and to share those experiences and to build community around these shared experiences. Like, yes, there's a lot of shit out there, but then there's also like beautiful people like the five of you all who are who are living your lives and being out there and showing that this is who we are, and
Yeah.
you know
Be unapologetically you.
that's right.
We
I
are
am.
kind of coming up towards the end. I don't want that to be the case because I love talking with y'all so much.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
But
I've thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I do kind of just want to, I guess, wrap up a little bit or start to, because I know me and I know us, and if it's going to, it's going to take some time. But first, I just want to say thank you to all of you for sharing your stories and, being vulnerable with me in this moment. Like, that genuinely means a lot. And I think, just by speaking your truth, you are not only helping yourself, but you're helping others. So I just want to say thank you. And yeah, like, is there anything that you kind of just want to touch on real quick? Now's the time. Whatever you feel like you need to say it. Get it out.
You go first, Jax.
No, you go first. Go on. Go first. Go.
Well, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I just want to talk about really quickly. In the previous section, they were talking about how has your content changed because of COVID, because of the pandemic, and a lot of people said really uplifting things like their content has gotten better. They've been able to focus on themselves. They've done a lot of introspection, and that was wonderful to hear. But I had the complete opposite reaction. My bipolar went so bad that I was this close to getting hospitalized. I had to go back on medication. I lost a lot of time to not being able to create content because my mental health was so bad. For me, Mixer closing down happened at the same time as the pandemic, happened at the same time as the lockdowns. And me being agoraphobic, it didn't really catch up with me for a long time because I don't leave my house anyway. But now it's catching up to the point where it's bad, and it's important to talk about that. And there was a message in the chat from Artemis earlier: make sure you're eating, make sure you're hydrated, make sure you're taking your meds, make sure you're taking your vitamins. And I say it every single day on my stream because it's so important. Please take care of yourselves. As BIPOC people, the amount of stress that we're going through because of Black Lives Matters, the election that happened, the pandemic, all these things takes a toll, even if you don't think it does. And now is the time for introspection. Now is the time to take care of yourselves first. And I just
Absolutely.
wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Getting out of bed is an
That's
act
nice.
of resilience.
It is.
Exactly. It's so difficult.
All right, Jax, what were you going to say?
I want to take this opportunity to bring awareness to missing and murdered Indigenous women. There has
Yes.
been a surge. There hasn't been a single day where I get on Facebook and I don't see a Indigenous girl or adult woman gone missing or murdered. And I just wanted to bring awareness to that, and that there are. I don't know any charities personally other than MMIW, which I think they're a nonprofit organization. And I just wanted to bring awareness to that, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
that is
that's it.
very, very important. That is very important.
Artemis has some links in the chat for mental health resources, and also MMIW if you want to get some more information. The links are in chat. Thank you, Artemis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
for that.
Yeah. I just wanted to say one quick thing as well in reference to the mental health awareness. I know mental health is still a very big stigma in the Black community. And I just want to be very open. It's okay to have these disorders. I'm someone who has chronic depression and anxiety. I've lost people to depression and anxiety, one of my parents. So I just want people to know it's okay to be dealing with this and to get help. As a Black woman, being treated and like being open about my depression, people still, because of the stigma of Black women being strong, gotta be angry, all of this, they kind of just brush it off, be honest. Like I get a very, oh, you're strong, you'll be fine, especially coming from my internal family and other Black communities. But it's okay not to be fine.
Yeah.
And don't tell people, don't let people tell you that, you know, that it's going to go away. Take the time to get the help that you need. I
Yeah.
didn't start going to therapy till I was 30. I didn't know what therapy was. And just take care of yourself, and that's about it.
Thank you
Yeah.
for speaking up on that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Papa, did you have any more parting words? Did you have parting words to begin with? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I mean, I feel like what I was saying was kind of like parting words, but I think I don't know what else I can add. I think I'm just very appreciative of all of this, and
Yeah.
you know, talk.
Yes.
Like it's so important to just talk to someone.
Yeah.
And so if there's ever, whatever it's about, just find someone to talk to. And if it doesn't feel good, just keep talking, because
That
you
help.
will find community, and you'll find the help out there if you're facing something. Because I think that far too often we just are told to bottle things up
Mm-hmm.
and push through, and getting that shit out, it's a weight off your shoulders that you just absolutely need,
Mm-hmm.
that we all
I
need.
agree. I agree. Absolutely. Steve-O, do you have any parting words?
Words? Do I have any parting words? Just to piggyback off of everybody, I would say, well, with in consideration what everybody said, believe in yourself, support yourself, be your biggest fan.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely surround yourself with the people that. One second, sorry, 1 second.
You're good.
His internet on his phone is amazing. We've
Right? It's
been
so
on a
good.
journey.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I have gone somewhere today.
All
I'm
right,
in real life.
I'm in town visiting my family, so I was
Oh no,
moving around today, so
you're
that's
good.
why
You're
like
good.
everything changed. But yeah, I would just say, surround yourself with the people that bring you happiness, and vice versa, and that's what I learned in the past year in the pandemic. And don't be afraid to change. Change is gonna be like the hardest thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna question a lot, but at the end, the answers will give you, like, you'll have your answers. You know what I'm saying? Time will give you the answers, and time will tell if you're on track or if you need to make some certain adjustments. But yeah, I think the biggest key is definitely taking care of yourself, and and really like being delusional, but like in a good way. So, like, you know what I'm saying, like, thinking past the moon. You know what I'm saying? Thinking to the next
Yeah.
galaxy is gonna be like the biggest key to like elevating everybody, taking that elevation to the next level, whether you stream or not. What's up, man? Sorry, it's a doggy.
No, you're good.
Where
Listen,
he is.
it's all good.
He's a big dog. He's an old one.
I'm
He's a
petting my
big
dog
old.
too.
He's a big
Yes, dog.
old guy. Hey.
He's an old man.
So yeah, that's all. You stay as positive as possible, and you know what I'm saying, get the help you need in due time. I want to go to therapy like very soon. It's just expensive as hell, no insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So take care of yourself however way you can, and then outside of that, just big up yourself, pat yourself on the back whenever you can, because if you don't do it, who else is gonna do it? So those are
Mm-hmm.
my excellent words.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
No
that.
doubt, no doubt. Appreciate everybody for participating today
Hell
too.
yeah.
I had fun
I
listening in.
I'm gonna drop a couple tidbits of information on y'all that I drop on everybody. Right? One, failure is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Failure is a good thing. It is a sign of growth. Growth is uncomfortable. You have to be uncomfortable in order to grow. It's not a bad thing. It's not something that we should be afraid of.
Amen.
Yeah.
And if we as marginalized people know anything, we know what it's like to be uncomfortable. We got this. Hands down, we got this shit. Okay? I'm just saying. The other thing is stop giving a fuck what people think of what you are doing. If you are doing exactly what you want to do in that moment, what anybody else has to say about it is null and void. They don't have any bearing on your life whatsoever. Stay true to who you are. Don't be afraid to upset people because our existence inherently upsets people.
You are taking us to church, girl.
I'm saying, listen, I got you. But
I wrote it down. Stop giving a fuck.
yes,
so did I.
you gotta stop. Just stop. Because you being uniquely you and being true to who you are, you will attract your tribe.
Yep.
And those are the people who you're gonna want in your corner. Don't cater to everybody else. Nobody else fucking matters. Because people are gonna say what the fuck they want, regardless of what you try to do. So at the end of the day, make sure that you are proud of what you do. At the end of the day, know that you have tried your best. And make sure that when you wake up tomorrow, you're going to try to learn and be a better version of yourself. We owe ourselves that. Because we are worth that. We are deserving of love, of respect, of praise.
Of success.
We are worthy of success. Yes.
Yes.
We are worthy of all of it. And we fucking deserve it because at the end of the day, we still fucking slay. Wig and all. I don't care. I said what I said. Hair flip. I know I just met some of y'all today, but I love y'all already. How about that?
I love you too.
I love you
Same.
Likewise. Much love. Much love.
I'm glad I got to meet you guys. Really
Yeah,
glad.
this was therapeutic, I think, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
So.
I can miss 4 weeks of therapy. I got 4 hours today.
Hello. It's me. It's me
Hello.
again, the person from the ceiling. I'm back.
My conscience.
I found a ladder. I finally got back down. Don't you worry, don't you worry. I have no idea how I'm meant to follow from Raven.
I'm sorry.
We'll just end the stream here. It's fine.
I can see myself out. All right.
Right, well, I'll try though. Don't you worry, don't you worry. Thank you all for being here, every single one of you. I have been sat here between being pissed, laughing my ass off, and also typing so furiously my hands hurt. Oh, not again. Every time I start speaking, this happens.
Oh, kitty. I love black kitties.
Hello, Ty. Yeah, okay. He's just coming here to give some love. Up here. He's also dumb. Okay, fine. Hold on. We'll just... Cool. So thank you all for being here. Your time is a gift, a precious gift, because it's the one thing you can't take back. So to spend it here with us, again, giving us education, your stories, your lives, your experience, when it's probably... You'd rather probably talk about something else, to be fair, than this again. But I'm thankful that you have. I'm thankful that you have, because it really does mean a lot. And I think I can speak for most of the people in the chat who are all sort of sat there going like, oh, I've learned things. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you all, really. I'm afraid...
Thank you for having me.
Likewise. Appreciate you.
I'm afraid we do have to get on to our next group. So we are going to be going to a BRB screen, everyone. But before we do, actually, I just remembered, we got to 1.7k during this section.
Yes!
Yes! So 1.7k raised for Hate is a Virus so far, so that's $300 more to our goal. And then we do have a stretch goal as well, just because we fancy being cheeky. So, I
mean, I like it.
Yeah, Why
Go
not?
big or go home.
Shoot for the stars, exactly.
Good job, guys.
Right.
Good job.
So we
Nice meeting you
will
all.
see you all shortly with our next group. Bloody hell.
I wish them luck.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
So-
Bye.